Good day. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Balisa, and I will be taking you through how to create a custom field that will show on a journal's input screen. I will be using this test company called Skyline for the purpose of this exercise. Okay, so the first step is to create a custom field. But before I create a custom field, I want to show you how a journal currently looks like before we create the custom field. So we'll go to our general ledger. Next to journal, we have a plus sign. Click on the plus sign. The plus sign means that you are creating a new document, in this case, a journal. So this is how the journal currently looks like. These are the features that are available. So now going back to creating a custom field, you will go to your platform services, and for some of you guys, it'll probably be customization services, and this is dependent on your subscription. So on my side, it's platform services, and all in your object customization, there's custom fields. Next to that, there's a plus sign. Click on that, and now we're creating a custom field. The first step is to choose an object. You have quite a number of options to choose from. It can range from literally anything in the system, can be an invoice, an order entry invoice, an AP supplier invoice, an adjustment. It can be a list of suppliers or supplier type or users. So you can put, like you can create a custom field almost everywhere. So these are the options that you have. But for the purpose of this session, we will be using an object journal. Okay, now step 2, now you need to select your data type. So data type is the type of information that you want to see on this custom field. It can be a checkbox where you can tick or maybe leave unticked. It can be a pick list where you have multiple options to select from. It can be an email or a text where you legit have to type something out, or a password. So you have these options available for your data type. But for the purpose of this session, we will use a pick list. Perfect. Now we move over to step 3. Step 3 now has where you need to choose field characteristics. So the first thing you have to do is give it a label, and this label is the name of the custom field. And so in our test, we will be testing a list of departments. So for example, let's say I want to create a journal, and I'm in the service department. So I want an option that allows me to select the service department to show that I created the journal and I'm in the service department. So the label, I will call it managed by department. I want you to look at it this way. If I click on enter, right? If I click on enter, my field ID auto-populates. So this field ID is how your custom field will appear on that journal input screen, right? Okay, so now your pick values, what do you want to see on your drop down list? What do you want to see? So I'm just gonna randomly type out different types of departments. We have the service, we have the legal, we have finance, we have IT, we have accounts. Okay, so I'll just end it there. These are the options that you are going to see when you click on the drop down next to the custom field, because we selected data type pick list. Okay, so now you have use first value as a default. So this simply means that if you tick this, right, this first value service will auto-populate every time when you create a journal. So that will be the first department that will show when you are creating your journal. But if you leave it unticked, then when you are creating a journal, on the journal input screen, that custom field will be blank and you will have an option to select which department. Okay, so for the purpose of this exercise, we are not going to select this checkbox. And then secondly, it's the sort list alphabetically. As you can see, I didn't type these departments in alphabetical order. So for the purpose of this exercise, we will tick the box, and when we are now viewing the journal, you will see that this list will be in alphabetical order. Perfect. Now for description, this is the part where you now explain. Let's say someone in another department wants to understand what's this journal for, and then you can just, a short description and be like, a general journal for the, let's say we are in the finance department. Okay, perfect. Okay, step 3 looks perfect. Now we're moving over to step 4. Now, step 4 is the deployment options. What do you want people to see? Where do you want to see your custom field? Firstly, do you want it to be a required field in a sense that when you add or create a journal, if you do not now specify the department, the journal won't save. That's when the field is required. So for the purpose of this exercise, we will say the field is required. You also have an option to say the field is hidden or it's inactive. Let's say now you don't want to use it anymore. You can just come back to this screen and then just take inactive and then save, then it won't work. Okay. Now field set. Field set is more of a heading for your custom field. So it kind of, how do I put this? It creates sort of like a new section, and below that section is the header, then your custom field. And then you also have an option to show on page. The reason why we don't have any options on this one is because if we go back to the journal input screen, we don't have any other like extra pages, or subsections. We only have this one page. Okay, so, or you can add a new page. So I'm going to show you, I think 3. Yes, so we're going to test 3 scenarios of how your custom field can look. So the first scenario is if we leave everything blank. If we leave everything blank, we want the custom field to be part of this information, just below the enable project billing flag. So we want it to be below that. No extra pages, no extra sections. So we are going to leave it blank, and then we will save. Perfect. So that's the first scenario. So we're testing the first scenario. We'll go to your general ledger. Now we are adding a journal. So set up journals, next to journals, the plus sign, you add. And as you can see, now we have that managed by department and your drop-down menu, your drop-down list, sorry. You have your departments in alphabetical order. As you can see, they look totally different. Right? Perfect. So this is when you leave, sorry, let me just go back. Platform services, now custom fields, look for it. There it is. Edit, since I'm going to be saving it. Okay, deployment options. Okay, so if you leave it blank, this is how it appears. It appears in that specific page, the current page. And then now let's say we want it to be in a subsection. So let's say we want this managed by this custom field to be in this page, but the second section. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so maybe I might call it management department, the department right? Can you say department nothing fancy, okay? Then I'll just say save, right? Perfect. Now let's try to add a new journal and see how it looks. You see, it's still in the same page, but now a different section. So it's under department M, and you can still now select which department you want. Now let's say, okay, I forgot to test the first one, but let's move on. So now let's say you wanted in a new page, right? You wanted in a new page or a new tab, right? So just remove that, and then you have now in a new page or a new tab. So you'll say done, right? And then you go back there, try to add a journal. Now, this is how it looks. Now there's a new tab or a new page, if I'm making sense. And then you have your options to select. Then perfect. Okay, the last part that I wanted to test was the mandatory field, right? So let's say now we have this journal, so we'll just call it test J, and that's a finance journal. Then you say test journal finance department, right? And then you go to this section. Now we're testing, right? We're testing the mandatory field. So if you leave it blank, right, and click save, it won't go through. It will let you know that a value is required. And this was because of this section. Just want to show you the section, deployment. It was because of this section. If you do remove the section, then you can save the journal without having to specify which department it belongs to. Then once that is done, you click on your save, and ta-da, you have your journal. And that's all from me. I hope this was very interesting. Thank you for joining me.